talking about different practices that you can implement to be more aligned within. And today we're talking about unlearning. And I thought this would be a good tip and topic because a lot of my clients that work with me struggle and find it very challenging because they start to have new awarenesses that make them feel better, but challenge their thinking. And I think that most of humanity is so focused on the physical discipline, like working out, especially here in California. Everybody works out and exercises, but not everybody has good mental discipline. And I think mental discipline is a huge area where people can focus. And a lot of people use the word mindset, but it's not a mindset. It's about having a discipline about where you're allowing your attention to go. So I thought I would talk about unlearning and really what is that? What is the unlearning? Unlearning is really about understanding that what you think you know or what you thought you knew is not true. So unwinding from the lies, unlearning from things that people said or things that maybe you believed and it wasn't true. That's the unlearning. So that is literally and figuratively an unwinding from the belief systems that are misaligned. And that can be very challenging because, it's uncomfortable to realize that, hey, I thought I knew, but maybe I really didn't know. And so then the ego gets involved because the ego likes to know everything, right? So you're really unlearning from that. But what I want to say about beliefs is that that's where entanglement often occurs. And entanglements, unlike Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith's entanglement affair, this entanglement is happening within your beliefs that keep you tethered to relationships that maybe don't serve your highest good. They don't maybe serve your expression of who you came to be. So your beliefs really need to be unwound. So there's that. The other thing that you want to understand is that as you're becoming more aware consciously and you're growing in your spiritual evolution, you're going to realize how much conditioning has occurred with you. And if you have higher educations, you have more conditioning that has been done to you than people who have been entrepreneurial and kind of chartered their own path, because the educational system has a lot of conditioning built into it. And the higher you go up, the more conditioning you have to unwind. That doesn't mean your education is bad. It just means that the road is a little bit tougher for those who are indoctrinated into a system and a way of thinking and being that is different than what your unique blueprint would be. So there's a lot of unlearning with that. And oftentimes people get frustrated, irritated, upset, maybe even disappointed. Because when you realize something that you thought was true isn't true, the ego engagement is strong and it really tries to pull you back into the drama and the hard ways of thinking that you're used to. So that's why ego work is so important. But, there's not a lot of people out there that are talking about ego work because the ego gets so defensive. So unlearning is really about committing every single day to knowing yourself, becoming aware, aligning to your values. I wrote this down, and really creating a stronger mental discipline that is aligned to what you value, not what you think. Those are two very different things. And I think it's really important to do all three of these things every single day. So I'm going to unwind them. Why is commitment every day to yourself important? Well, it's super important because without you, there is no we, right? And if you're not committing to who you are and who you want to become, you are more apt to be manipulated and, basically pushed in directions that maybe aren't for you, but because you didn't know what you wanted, or because you weren't invested in yourself and knowing, or you just get taken down a path of lies and deceit. And when you wake up for that, and you will wake up from that, you will see that there has been lots of lies and deceit. It hurts. That's a very painful path. And if you have not identified your top 5 or 10 values, do that today. If you do nothing else today, know what it is that you are aligning to every single day. Have your values there so you can get clear and stay the path every day. Look at your values, know them. At the end of the day, see where you are in alignment with them. If you weren't, it's not about getting mad at yourself. It's really about redirecting your attention so that the next day you are moving more in the direction of the path that you want to go down and the person that you want to become. So now I want to talk about mental discipline with the unlearning process, because it is challenging to have your beliefs exposed and to be inaccurate. That is the real matrix. When people are talking about the matrix isn't a physical aspect. It's an illusion created by your belief system that keep you from seeing and experiencing yourself and life in a different way, a more authentic and real way. So having mental discipline allows you to create what's called inner strength. If you don't have a mental discipline, you will be distracted repeatedly. And I think it's, those are the people that get hurt and are going to struggle when things really come down. You think people struggled with COVID? It's going to get worse. I think they said that I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it was significant amount of people were anxious, depressed, and went on some type of prescription. Those prescriptions are due to a lack of a mental. I'm not going to say that there's not chemical imbalances in place, because there is some issues with that, but a lack of having a strong mental discipline will cause people to rely on something outside of themselves. They will start to look for answers and resolution outside of themselves. And therefore, there's very little, if any, discernment used. And discernment is where you basically use your critical thinking to adjust and decide and make decisions that are sound, not based on emotion. I think a lot of people that are lacking mental discipline struggle with some of the decisions that they've made in the past, and decisions and maybe even things that they're seeing as mistakes. Mistakes are simply learning opportunities. But they keep on happening with the same types of players if you don't learn your lessons. So that's what I have to say about unlearning. Just going to check here to see if there's any questions. There's some people in the chat that are there's some people in the chat that are, I think they're bots or just people that don't have anything really in their time to, other than to have a banter amongst themselves. It's quite interesting process. How do you unlearn? Well, Oliver, I just went over that. You have to commit. You have to commit to becoming aware. You have to commit to becoming more aligned with who you want to be. And if you don't know who you are outside of your job, you're in trouble. So you want to really start to identify, who are you? Ask yourself, who am I? And if you are using your role as who you are, that's a sign of trouble. So you really want to know who you are. You got to understand what it is that you value. So you got to know your top values, and you want to align with them every single day. And have mental discipline. Allow you direct your thoughts. Don't allow your thoughts to direct you. A lot of people go down rabbit holes with their thoughts, and to get out of going down a rabbit hole, it's really important to determine where you're going to put your attention instead of letting your thoughts take you down places that don't feel very good. So I hope you found this helpful. I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. I hope you have a great day. Bye.